question is, why did you want to join the student leadership team this year?
Okay, so for me, I've been at school since year one, so it's always been a major part of my life. And giving back to the school and giving back to the school community is probably one of the major reasons why I wanted to be part of the team. Because I feel, as a member of SLT, that's by far one of the best ways you can give back. A lot of people be like, "Oh yeah, you can put it on your personal statement, all that." It's barely. I don't think it barely makes a line on my personal statement. So it's a lot of time and a lot of dedication, but it is definitely a rewarding experience. And I think, yeah, that's why I was excited to join.
Okay.
So I'd say for me, moving from kind of a different school, moving here, it was really cool to see all of the differences within this school compared to my last. So that was something that I could kind of see between the two and bring to what I was talking about. But more importantly, I think having only been here a very short amount of time when we actually applied for SLT, it already made such an impact on me as a student, and it really given me such a new experience and such a rewarding experience being at the school compared to my last. So I think that's why I really wanted to get involved and see if I can make some changes and do what I can. So yeah, that's why.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite similar to Razine in the sense that I've been at the school for like a very long time, so I've always somewhat aspired to be like sort of in a leadership role, and then especially being in sixth form, I've kind of been in awe, I think, of the previous SLTs, and like just always seeing them around school and looking up to them. And then especially, I think the most recent SLTs, like the amazing work done for the MRI charity last year, I just kind of wanted to emulate that, I think. So.
Okay.
So second question is, what do you aim to achieve this year being a member of the SLT?
Wait, I'll start. Yeah, I think so. I'm on as one of the deputy heads, I'm on the mental health team with Lucy Christensen. So we've got quite a lot of aspirations to improve because obviously it's a very important area, and it's kind of finding the settlement for us between wanting to make really grand changes and it obviously not being feasible to do certain things. But we basically just really want to improve the general ethos of the school surrounding sort of mental health and emotional well-being, and as well as tackling the sort of serious problems with mental health that you see developing in your sort of adolescent years. We also kind of just want to generally improve the emotional well-being of the school, and especially in such sort of high pressure environment that you get with the academia at Nottingham High School. Is something that we really want to target.
Yeah, so I'll go ahead, but we're kind of overlooking everyone and working as kind of we don't have a specific area, me and Razine, that we're a part of, but we kind of got together as an SLT, and we decided that we wanted to focus on 3 main aims this year, and those involve diversity, well-being, and outreach. Obviously, I think Ellie mentioned in the previous interview that outreach is difficult this year with kind of the COVID situation and everything's having to go virtual. And I think that's a big part of what we're trying to achieve this year, is really adapt to what's been thrown our way, and find ways to continue to provide everything that we can and make changes and improvements through virtual ways and year group specific events and things like that. So that's really important for us. But in particular, me and Razine and Ellie, as she can't do that much outreach, have focused on charity this year. So we've picked a whole school charity and we're moving forward on that with trying to get each year group to hold their own events and push through in that way, because we can't have cross-year communication as such. So we're trying to still raise as much money as we can for our whole school charity. So yeah.
Yeah. So I think Maddie pretty much covered everything we were trying to say there. There's trying to cover a lot of ground, but hopefully by the way we've delegated the teams and we've got a really strong set of people this year, we feel that we'll be able to carry carry it through, and working with the teachers, with on mental health front, working with the counsellor, working with the school nurse. We're hoping we'll be able to cover a lot of the front, make some changes, and even with obviously COVID, as you can see, we're at home, issues and all the things that are related to that, the virtual assemblies, we'd like to see it more as an opportunity, as Maddie said, to adapt rather than a setback. And exactly, I think, and if we look to put things in place for further years as well, perhaps when the regulations come down, the restrictions come down, that is also one of the beneficial things we'd be hoping to look at.
Okay. What are the main things that you're going to try and do to support the school as a community this year? What's like change it for the better?
Cool. So I think I did that. So yeah, there we go. So the school community is obviously very important. It's one of the biggest things. And I think coming out of the lockdown and the pandemic, what we realized was the need for a community and the need of the community that we build up, especially with people who struggle perhaps in isolation, some of the people in the school. So we're looking through each of the different fronts of our aims to build up that school community, as you put it. So for example, on diversity, the school's got a very diverse student body, and we're hoping to really celebrate that and support it in all the ways possible. And wherever there's been issues, we want to identify those issues and work on them. And I think that's probably the main aim from that. And also in terms of well-being, mental health, emotional well-being is extremely important. And you can't do that unless the school has a community and ethos where everyone's supporting each other. And I think that's one of the main things we want to cultivate, not just being able to work on individual cases, but to create the whole holistic sort of approach to it. So yeah, what about anything to add?
I mean, you pretty much covered everything, but I'd say a big thing for us in terms of our wider community is just talking and collaborating with as many people as we can. And I think that's something that we've really kind of found so vital. Project is being able to talk to people within our community, teachers, students, for example, the counsellor and the nurse on mental health and things like that. So it's been really great to get feedback from everyone, because we don't know what the issues are in every year, and especially coming from a different school, I don't know the systems as well as the people in the year. So I don't know what's going on in the year seven's head right now, because everything's changed and the world is so different to when we were there. So it's been really interesting to talk to all different years and get some amazing feedback and ideas. So that's been really cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's not much to add there really. I'd say one thing that we're also looking to do this year, which it should be an improvement on previous years, is we're going to have a lot more crossover between our SLT and the next SLT, because obviously we are sort of term, I don't know what you call it. Our time as SLT ends, and we pass over to the next SLT in summer term. So we're really going to try to communicate a lot of our aims towards them, and we'll obviously demonstrate what we've done in our limited time, and then hopefully that'll just it'll mean that our goals actually sort of have a knock-on impact into the next years, and they're not just sort of short-term achievements.
Okay. Have you got any other points?
And one other thing was, in terms of our community, also reaching out into the local communities. So in terms of outreach, obviously, hopefully, if some of the restrictions go down, we'll be able to look at local primary schools, look at other secondary schools that we can work with. I think that the most important thing is we both get an experience out of it. Students from our school, students from their school, we'll both be able to learn, and hopefully in that way we'll enrich the local community, which is obviously essential to our school.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.